So we are live now. So we'll just wait for a few. We are live now, so I'll just wait a few minutes for people to join to them.
我的车，你们看里面都有sensor。哪里都有sensor，不可能没有。他说非得说没有。我说你看欧洲网，他这个又是找不着。而且现在的帽那个都不能配到原来的那个，知道吗？换了一个新的。那我那车轱辘里没有sensor。没sensor。他给我换新的。你打一个低了谁？你说我这个他怎么在屏幕上没法看
？Yeah. Mr. Ernest, so we are live now. Welcome, guys. So we just wait for a few minutes for others to join, then we can just start.
这一3多少钱？没3麻烦。你前面太 fly 太多多了。那你前2天 fly 太为什么知道？对呀，我就跟他说，我这，他说他没发现3我说不可能这样。他现在已经2了。不是他怎么会说是没有sensor？他现在是给咱tag，我用的还是原来的我自己的tag，不对吗？我不知道那sensor是装在，sensor是装在就那个打气孔那块后边耳洞那块，他给换了一个，那可不就没sensor，可能把sensor都没了。那我原来的旧的呢？我问他，我说你原来旧的，他说不清楚。他说那已经 broken 了。怎么 broken 了？他跟我说的好像 broken 了，我说你那旧的呢？而且你这没有那样，他说是侧面漏气，就是轮毂和那个 rubber 那块缝隙漏气。怎么会呢？我也不真不看明白。那下这他也没sensor，我估计再到地方给你重新装sensor。不，他把我的sensor扔了是吗？那一定是有的，我每个轱辘里都有sensor。对呀，那去走，去找他，让他扔哪了？让他捡回来。你的衣服了，给他穿。
Mr. Ernest, so when you're ready, then you let me know, then we can.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that we just give another 5 minutes. So at 1, then we can just start. Welcome, guys.
Yeah.
So we'll just wait for like another 5 minutes, then we can just start.
Right.
And what we'll be doing is Mr. Ernest will just walk us through what he has, then we'll just open up for some questions and answers.
Yeah. So let me post this. So.
And also, if you have any questions, you can just, and you don't want to come on, you can just leave it in the comment section. I'll just highlight it for him to answer. But when it's questions and answers time, I can just add you to the stream, then you ask your question directly.
他现在可能应该把你车停出去了。应该把你车停出去。你拿着东西我去找他，不可能没有sensor。
Sifu nko for mo anti me yayi. Me mama kwanza.
Okay, then you can put yourself on mute. Then at 1:10,
Yeah.
we just start.
Mati. I'm okay.
Mr. Anson, so whilst we are waiting, I'll just highlight some of the questions that people have put in. Then I think at 1:10 we just start.
Okay.
I think Felicia is saying your call never came through to her.
Felicia, right? Yeah, I'll call you after. I'll call you after. Don't worry.
Mm.
Mm,
Okay, welcome. So Mr. Anson, we are ready. So when you are ready, we can just start.
okay. All right. So, uh, I say good evening. Good evening in Ghana. It's also good evening here too. It's been a while. I think the last time I came on was about 3 to 4 months ago. It's been a while, and a lot of things have happened. New developments with regards to immigration, and a lot of policies have changed along the line. But like was rightly advertised today, I'm going to discuss more on the study permit and the express entry as well. Okay. So with regards to the study permit,
Sorry, Mr. Anson. I think you are not showing up in the frame very well. So I don't know
oh,
if you
okay.
can
Sorry.
position yourself so that at least
Let me position it well.
you are in the so that you'll be in the frame nicely for
Is it
people
better?
to see you. Nice one. Nice one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you can go ahead. I'll go on mute.
Okay. So like I said, a lot of policies have come into place. A lot of changes have come in since the last time I came on, and as I continue to highlight what we're going to discuss today, things might come up. The changes will definitely come up as I discuss it. I hope it's better now. Yeah. Yes. Now with the study permit, if you realize for some time now, we were not getting people were not getting the visas, or people put in the application and they were not getting response. That was because of, I mean, obviously everybody knows that the COVID played a role in people getting rejected, people getting refused. Why? Because they had not come out with a plan. Every year they do come out with a plan, and the plan tells them how many people they are going to take in terms of students, how many people they are going to take in terms of permanent residents, those who are applying under the HNC, those who are applying under refugee. All these things, they have to table it before they can implement it. So until they table all those things, it's kind of difficult for them to come out. And so what they normally do at the embassies is that the little mistake they see on you, they just put you somewhere. It doesn't mean you've been written off. You have another chance to reapply when the time is due, especially when they pointed out certain things that they feel you couldn't add. All right. The certain things that you couldn't add now, I guess if they refuse you, that is not the end of life. That is not the end of your journey to come to school here. Okay, so I'll highlight one or two points with regards to the things that they are requiring from you, especially when you put in study permit application. Now, before you even think of putting in a study permit application, it is important to know that you have to get an admission letter from a school. Okay, not just any school, but a school with a DLI number. It's very, very important. The designated learning institutions. There are so many schools, yes, some of them don't have it. Others have. Most of them have, actually. So whenever we are looking for the school, we should look at the school with the DLI number. Without it, yeah, you can come in, but at the end of the day, you will not enjoy the benefit of getting the postgraduate work permit. All right, because it is a mandatory requirement that before you get that postgraduate work permit, you should have attended a DLI certified school. Okay, so it's very important. When we are applying to the schools, we can go on the net and check whether they have the DLI. It starts with zero, and then so it starts with O, actually, not zero, O, and then some numbers follow, some long numbers follow. So it's very important we check on that one too. All right. So after you've gotten your study permit and they've stated they have the condition in, most of the time they do put in condition that you have until certain day or certain date to pay part of your fees. That part of your fees you paying, is the requirement from the school. It is not an immigration requirement. It is a requirement from the school. So some of the schools will ask you to make a deposit, maybe to reserve a seat. Some of them will ask you to pay your first semester fees. Okay, so it is not a requirement from IRCC. It is a requirement from the school. However, when you pay these fees that the school require from you, I mean, obviously, it adds some positive note to your application because it's a form of you showing commitment. Okay, because we have a history of some people coming in and saying they will be going to school, but when they come in, they don't go to the school. All right. So if you show commitment like that, it adds some advantage to you. But it doesn't mean it guarantees you a visa. No, it doesn't guarantee you a visa, but it adds some points to it. It gives you some edge over the others because you have paid. Assuming they want to choose between I mean, they have only one visa for two people, and they want to choose among the two people which of you guys get it. Of course, you have made a commitment, you've paid fees. So, I mean, obviously, if they give it to you, it makes sense than give it to somebody who has not paid anything. That is why if you pay the fees, it's good, but it is not a mandatory requirement from IRCC. It may be a mandatory requirement from the school in order to keep your seat. So let us take note of that. Now, when we come to the school proper, the visa proper, they expecting us to fill the form in certain way. Okay, sometimes we are refused not because of the reasons that they give us. Some of the reasons are defaulted reasons. Okay, but the way we fill the form, especially when it comes to how much you have or how much you have on you. They have a term that they use, funds available for your stay. Or people put in all sort of things. People put in 1 year fee. Some people even put in the balance on the bank statement of their sponsors and all that. All right. So that is the reason why I am here today and letting you know that we have people who can do it. That's the expert. All right. And so in immigration, we are expert in doing these applications. And so when it gets to that point, you can contact me. You can contact my brother here to help you out as to how you fill the form. It's very, very important. And there are certain things that we end up ignoring, especially when it comes to the family information. They are critical. For you, you may be thinking, I mean, I can just give them anything. But remember, they do background check, especially if you've gotten a relative you have a relative here who have used your information as his relative or her relative, and then you are coming in and then you don't state the person's name as your relative, it means you are lying, or your relative is lying, because he puts your name, he puts your date of birth. And the moment your name and your date of birth goes into the system, it is stuck in there. So anytime you come in and then you put in, you bring in an application, and then they do background check, they put your name, you put your date of birth, and it pops up. And then you are given different information from what your relative gave. Obviously, they are not even going to continue. They don't know who is lying, whether you or your relative here. Okay, so I mean, obviously, they are not going to say your relative here is lying, so they are going to bring him back home. No, they will ask you to stay home. So at answering immigration, what we do is that we do this background check. We make sure we do our due diligence before we present any application to the embassy. So yes, and as part of the requirement, people also, bring in bank statement and all. We have a way the bank statement should look like. Okay, especially when people dumping money, and all those guys who have received refusals, especially when it has to do with finances, they do state that the applicant put in what a lump sum. It is not done that way. And even if it is your money that you deposited in it, you have the right to deposit, but we have a way to quell the letter. Okay, when we apply for you, what we add a submission letter to it. And in the submission letter, we do explain. So even if you've deposited money, which is huge sums of money in there, we know how to explain to them for them to understand. They would not say you deposited a lump sum. Okay, so I will urge you guys, those who can't do it, those who can do it, yes, thumbs up for you. I mean, I'm motivating you to just do a good work. But those who can't do it, that is why we are here, to help you, to explain certain things for you. People do even go in with, sometimes we do present applications with a statement which has debit balances. We do get them. Why? Because of the explanation that we add to the application. So it's very important that we take every single line or every single space in the form very, very serious. It is well thought of before they brought in that space. So you can't just put in anything. And I realize that a lot of people too ignore some of the questions. They ask you questions, you don't even answer. You just give them what you want to give them. Okay. When you lack information, when they are not getting information from you, they don't want to waste time. A lot of applications are on the table. They want to deal with those who have everything intact. Okay, when it is even permanent residents, what they do is that they will return the application to you. They're going to return the application to you. But when it is temporary residents, they will just refuse you, and then you lose your money. So don't let us go through that route, and So the bank statements is very important. How the bank statement should look like. Like I said, putting in big money is not illegal to put in big money. You have to explain. And then those who just go in because you're going to present your bank statement to the embassy and just dump in money, no, they are smarter than, I mean, most of us here. So I mean, don't just dump money and think, oh, you are showing a huge balance. So please, okay. And then so that has to do with the study permit. The other things that we can go much into details, but I'm going to end the study permit here. If you have the questions, based on the questions, then I'll be able to explain into details. Okay, then I don't know, Mr. Moderator, can I move on to the second, or we want to take
Yeah,
questions?
I think what we can do is, so you can go over the next point. Then after that, we will open up for questions. Those who want to come on and ask their questions face to face, I'll add them to the stream for them to ask the questions. Those who want to just type it in the comment section, they will type it. Then you will answer it. So maybe you can go over the second aspect.
Okay, so the second one has to do with what we call the express entry. That is that's the federal government a way of getting in people, the skilled labor, both trade, those who are in trade and those who are in like professionals. Okay, so they've categorized them under three main like under three main. We have the Federal Skilled Workers Program, and then we have the Federal Trade Workers Program, and the last one is the Canadian Experience Class. That one is mostly used by those who are already here. It could be students, it could be a worker. That, as the name implies, Canadian experience. It means you have gotten an experience here before, at least 1 year experience here before you can apply using that route. But for those of us who are outside the country, we can concentrate on the Federal Skilled Workers Program and then the Federal Trade. Okay, with the Federal Skill, all they need from you is to tell them the number of years that you've worked under a certain profession. It's not all professions that qualify to come in here. We have what we call the NOC codes. Okay, the NOC codes tells you whether your job that you have or your qualification that you have does qualify you to come in here. We have category A, category 0, category B, C, as well as D. All right, but most of the time, the Federal Skilled Workers Program cuts at category B. So we have the 0. 0 is more of the doctors, the engineers, those professional guys. And then when we come to category A, then you are talking about the managers. Those are the middle class managers and all that. Then the category B has to do with the supervisors or the officers. Okay, so then like administrative officer, production supervisor, operations, those are the category Bs. Now, it doesn't mean that when you are down or when you are like a clerk, you don't qualify. You can qualify under a different program. This time around, we can move you to the provinces, especially the Ontario province, where we have other means by which you can also qualify to come in. All right. So don't count yourself out. If you fall under category C, don't count yourself out. You can, do something, we can get something else for you. But for those who are in B, like I said, managers, the operational managers, the financial managers, the doctors and all that, you come under the first part, which is the 0, the A, and then the B. Okay, so all they need from you is to do at least 1 year work out of the last 3 years work out of the last 10 years. Okay, when you have this, you get the maximum points. Yes, 2 years can also bring you in. 1 year can also, but the points are not that much. Okay, so you have to look at 3 years. And then your language, very key. Most of the time, you try to avoid, when you're talking to somebody and you tell them about IELTS, then they lose hope. I mean, that is how you can also come in. There's no way they're going to take that one off. Even if you're coming from the US, you still have to get it. If you're applying for permanent residence under the express entry and other programs, you still have to get it, even from UK. So I mean, someone asking me, I'm a Ghana, we do speak English and all that. I said yes, but that is their requirement. You have to meet it before you can come in. So the language is key. Okay, you have to get at least 7 bands, not band 7 as in the total, but band 7 minimum for each class, like the speaking at least 7, the what do you call it, the writing 7, the reading 7, and then the listening also 7. Okay, so that has to do with that. The 7 is what we call the CLB. Let me explain here. The 7 is not IELTS 7. IELTS, you could get 6, and it could be that one will be 7 in CLB, Canadian Language Band. Okay, so when you go on the net and you check, you can get all those equivalent. So 6.5, 6.5 will get you 7 CLB. Okay, so that is the main thing, the language. The language. People are coming in here because they've taken that chance, they've taken that risk to write the exam. It's expensive. I mean, if I tell you, especially with the current situation in Ghana where the exchange rate is that bad, it's expensive. But I mean, you have to prepare and go and write it. You can get it at British Council. I don't know any other place apart from British Council that they write in Ghana. So you can get it at British Council. And then we have the credential evaluation. You have to do that one as well. Because you've asked me to do the express entry for you, and you don't have these two main, I can't continue, I can't start. You have to at least get your express entry. Sorry, you have to get your IELTS and then your credential evaluation. Meaning, if you have a degree or your master's or your PhD, they want to know what is the equivalent of your master's or your degree in Canada. Because there are certain degrees that will not qualify as a degree here, especially those who attended the 2-year, 3-year degree program. Sometimes you have to add more. You have to give them more evidence why you attended 2 years. Maybe you have 2 years from Poly, then you can add it. But just if you bring the raw 2 years, they will not even bother to listen. Okay, so those are the things that we will let you know when we start talking, and then we get your things arranged for you. People are coming in, and I don't know whether you heard the news. I don't know what I heard in the news, but they are looking at bringing about 1,500 people. All right. Sorry, 1.5 million. Sorry. 1.5 million people for the next 3 years. 1.5 million. So, like every year, they are looking at bringing in 500,000 people. And a lot of them are going to come under the economic class. That is the express entry, the provincial nominations, and all the other streams. Apart from the express entries, we do have the 10 provinces and the 3 territories. We do have their individual programs that they do. Okay, so we have all these things that we do that we can help you come in here with it. So, like I said, the express entry cost entry is your language, then your credentials. So I'll end here. If you have any question, we can talk about it.
Yeah, so there are a couple of questions in the chat. And please, if you want to come onto the stream and ask your question yourself, I've posted the link. You can just use it to join, and I'll just add you to the stream. So, Mr. Ansong, I'll just put some of the questions on the screen, then you can just pick them one after the other.
Okay.
So this one says, what currently qualifies a person to get PR?
Okay, there are so many means by which you can get your PR. I mean, like I said, you can get PR whilst you're even in Ghana or whilst you're outside the country. All right. So that is when you use the express entries, the provincial nomination programs, which runs from you coming in as a student, you coming in as a worker, you coming in as a business person. Okay. Or you coming in as someone who has gotten a job in Ontario. So there are so many people to marry, and they do get. I'm talking about legitimate marriage, not any fraudulent, because I don't tolerate fraudulent marriage in my company. All right. So legitimate marriage, that one can qualify you, as well as you coming as an international student. We have a pathway for you to also get, that is Canadian experience class faster, and then you can come in when you have skill back home, right? So it could be, like I said, it could be trade skill, or it could be like a professional skill. When I talk about the doctors, the engineers, the IT, especially the IT guys, please take advantage of this system. IT, they want the IT guys in the system because they want to make life easier. When you guys come out with the softwares, it makes life very, very easy for us. The hospitals, the payment systems. And as time goes on, the other specific programs where the IT guys easily use it to come in. And we're going to discuss all those things, especially the IT guys. Okay, so
Okay.
there's so many.
So I think, Kenneth, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Kenneth, can you hear me?
I've seen a question here. Do you want me to address it? Private chat.
So let me just, whilst we wait for Kenneth, I can just add the next question. Okay.
Okay, so you want to know the time in Ghana to process a study permit. After the COVID, things changed. And so it is kind of difficult to give you specific time that they can use to give you. But I can give you an average, right? Until recently, was about 3 to 4 months before they could approve it for you. So they didn't care much whether you'll be going to school in January or September. They know you can always defer the program and come the next time. So they don't care about that. All right. For now, what I'm seeing, the approval that I'm getting from my company within 1.5 months, they are approving. I don't know why they just doing things in the express way. But within 1 month, 1.5 month now, they are just approving because they just came out with a plan. And the plan, 500,000 people within 1 year, is not a joke. They have to start working now. They have to start giving the visas now. All right. So now it's reduced from what I'm seeing. A couple of visas that I've taken so far, they are approving within the 1.5 months, especially those who have been refused. And then because I do a lot of refusals, those who did it on their own, they got refused. I do a lot of them, and that is my hallmark. I get your application, study whatever happened, and then re-put in the application. And those guys within 3 weeks, 1 month, 1.5 months, they're getting response. Okay, so it varies. It is not, I mean, it is not a fixed time that they can give you. Especially those who also have traveled a lot. If you've traveled a lot, it takes time for them to approve. Why? Because you have to do your background check. If you traveled a lot and you stayed more than 6 months, you know very well they have to go and check your background, whether you don't have any criminal records and all that. So it takes time if you traveled a lot. Though the advantage is that they know when you come, you will do whatever you want to do because other countries' immigrations believe you. That's why they give you visas. That is the positive aspect. The negative aspect is that because you've been traveling to different, they want to know what you were doing there. Okay, so it varies. It is not one time. There's the next question from Martin. I've got admission into Georgian College. I'm currently working at an eye clinic and my employer is sponsoring my education. He will give me his bank statement, but do I also need to show mine too? Very, very important. Very, very important. It is not a requirement for you to add your personal bank statement to it when you have a sponsor. However, it gives you an added advantage. Okay, it gives you an added advantage because now, if assuming your sponsor disappoints you, all right, or doesn't bring in the money as required, you can step in and do your own thing, at least the basic. If not fees, you can do the basic payment. So that is why when you add, and especially those who add, I find it very easy or very simple to explain to them when you add your personal one because I have to justify. So most of the time, if we don't add our personal, that is when they refuse and they say that you don't have money. You don't have money doesn't mean your sponsor doesn't have money because you did not add yours. That is why they say you don't have money. Because sometimes your sponsor have so much money in there, but they tell you you don't have money. It means you did not add yours. You did not tell them you have any ties back home. Okay. So if you add your statement, it's good. Add your statement to it. Okay, should my study plan be just one page? Can I add another letter of explanation to tackle my home ties and proof of funds? Yes, just the study plan, they don't restrict you as to number of pages that you have to write. Okay, you are just giving them information about you. Just be straightforward. Don't beat about the bush. Hold on, please. Hold on.
So those tires, we can't find four of them. The next one up for the 196.
All right, sorry. All right, so should my study plan be, yeah, be just summarize. Don't give too much unnecessary details. Like if you're talking about your study plan, they want to know why you decided to choose the school that you chose. Secondly, why in this whole world you never choose any school, I choose any country, but I decided to come in here. That those are the things they want to hear. What is the benefit of the school that the study the program that you want to do? What is the benefit to you as a person? What is the benefit of the program to your community back home? Because you're expected to go back home. Your the benefit of the program to your community, the benefit of the program to your country. That is how you have to structure it and go straight to the point. Yeah, they don't want to know about yourself, my family, and all those things. Like I said, when you come to answer immigration, we're going to virtually help you draft all those things. All right.
Okay. And I think Mr. Answer, on the letter of explanation, just talking from my own experience,
Mm,
sometimes when you have a refusal or you think there's something about your application that you want to maybe explain to them, that's when maybe you will add that one. Because I did it, so my refusals, I tried to answer the questions that they raise about the
erased.
other
Mm,
applications. And although things that in my background that I think might come up and the immigration officer might ask questions about that I
mm,
didn't write in my study plan.
right.
Yeah. So we have neutral. Let me see whether he'll be able to ask his question. So neutral, you can go ahead and ask your question. Hello, neutral. Oh, okay. We can't hear him, so I'll just put the next question on.
Mhm. Okay, so can you please touch on family ties when applying for study permit? What are some of the mistakes people make in relation to family ties? Okay, so when you ask of your family ties, or all they want to, it's not about they want to know whether you have 1,000 kids or not. No, no. They just want to know what will bring you back home. Okay. So your family ties, if you are married, what is the evidence that you are married? Your marriage certificate. You can't just tell them you are married without adding your certificate to it. If you have kids, telling them I have 7 kids, 8 kids doesn't give any information. And the birth certificate of your kid, because on the birth certificate, you have your name, you have your spouse's name on it, you have the kid's name on it. And so it becomes part of your records in the system. Okay. So give all those evidences. Just mentioning them is nothing. Give evidences. Okay. So add the certificate as well. And then what role do you play back home? Like your social community, any volunteering or whatever. How are you regarded in your church? Are you an influencer? Are you, opinion leader? They want to know all those things. Okay. So you can add all those things. Those are part of your family ties. What will bring you back home? You are needed back home. So you have to show them this is what I have, this is what I do, this is what if I'm not there, they cannot do and all that. So explain to them. Okay. Can I use a secured loan as proof of funds? A friend of mine did and he was refused for insufficient. Please, what am I supposed to do if I'm using a loan? Yeah, you can use a loan. I mean, using loan to school. But Mr. Bobby, I'm getting feedback. Can you fix it for me? Hello? Okay. All right. So getting using loan to fund your education, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay. It's a matter of letting them know. If you just tell them loan, I am paying my fees through loan without giving them evidence, they will not take you serious. Okay. So you can use loan. I know we use different companies like what do you call it? Fund and all those companies. They do give students loan to come in. International students, not only domestic students. International students do get loans from those Empower and all that to come in. So there's nothing wrong with you having loan. It's about your explanation, how you explain your finances, because you need to explain for them to know, and then how you intend paying back the loan. Okay, they don't want you to be a burden on them. You take loan, then you have to struggle, you have to work illegally to get money to go and pay and all that. They don't want that. So if you've taken loan, what is the structure? What is the agreement? How are you paying back? What is the mode of payment? What is the repayment period? Let them know. Give some explanations to the loan that you've taken. There's nothing wrong with you taking loan and going to school. Okay? So you can use loan to finance your education. I'm outside the country, going outside my visitor visa. How can I transfer to work permit? I don't understand the question. Are you here? Are you in this country or you are a different country? Can you give me more info on that? I think with the writing of the IELTS English exams, when you go to the British Council, they have books for you guys to read, and not only the books, you can also do some research on YouTube, listen to those who have written the exams and passed, because it's not just writing the raw English; it's about how you structure the especially the reading, the writing aspect of it, how you structure your sentences, the way you put your paragraphs, what is needed or expected for you to put in the paragraph and all that. Those are the things that they look out for. Okay, it's not just writing because you speak English you feel you can just pass. No, it's about the structure, connecting the dots, making sense. All right, connecting sentences. You can't just say this and say that, and then it might not be able to connect. Whoever is reading should have that picture in the mind when he's reading your work. All right, she should be able to picture whatever that you want to say. Okay, so try to you organize it. That is the only advice. Try to organize your thoughts before you put it on the paper and then you submit it to them. Don't just write anything which they cannot connect. And then please, can I apply for school with my vocational certificate? Yes, we have schools where you can continue your technical education. It's not only academic. You can also do your technical as well. So there are so many schools that you can do that.
Okay, Nick, you can ask your question. We can see you all. You can just position your camera well and then ask your question.
Yes, so I have a quick question. So I'm planning to I'm in New York. I'm planning to sponsor my sister and my niece together. So my first question is, does it have to be two separate applications? Because my niece has just finished senior secondary school, and my sister has completed a certificate program from a nursing school in Ghana. So that's the first question. The second question is, I'm planning to be the sponsor, and I want to know whether 4 months bank statement is okay, or it has to be 6, because I heard people talking about 6. And thirdly, because I've also heard people are saying they usually, since it's 2 people, they have to, the money has to be big in a sense that it has to be 10,000 per person for the living expense. So my actual plan is to actually pay the full fees for both of them, because they are doing 1 year program. So the only thing I'll be showing in my bank statement is just their living expense, which is my bank statement. I think I will be having around 25,000 US dollars, which I know sometimes they consider how much you also have, because if 10,000 for each of them, how much am I going to use for my own expense? So to add to that, I'm also thinking of talking to my bank and getting a loan of around 15,000 US dollars to add to my bank account, so that it will kind of boost my chance of them giving them the visa. So I don't know whether it's going to raise a red flag, or I just have to explain why that kind of big sum is coming to my account, because I'm planning to also explain to them that I'm going to use that 15,000 loan from my bank to help their education, to use as their living expense. You see, so I want to know whether it's going to raise a red flag, or I should just maintain my 25,000 US dollars as the proof of as they're going to use it for their living expense. So that's my question.
Okay, so let me address the first one. You
If you need a clarification or you want to, it's a lot of questions.
I know. Okay, so the first one, whether they should apply together or separately. Yeah, most of the time, if it is not like a family visit and it is cool, you don't have to do like add the two, like, but it should be separate. Okay, and the system doesn't even allow you to apply to school in a joint manner like that. You have to do a separate application. Okay, so if that is the first one, and then the second one, you want to sponsor the two, and you want to know whether the statement that you need is 6 months or 4 months. I mean, 6 months it's okay. I mean, if you have the 4 months, fine. If you have 6 months, what they want to know is about how you get the money. It's not about bank statement, it's about how you get the money. Remember, they want to know whether one, the money is not generated as a result of money laundering. Two, they want to know whether it's sustainable. The business that you are doing, you'll be able to, because remember, it is your account, it is not the student's account. So at any point in time, you can decide not to continue the sponsorship. If the money were to be in their account, then it's a different story. Okay. If you could transfer the money into their account, then it's a different story. But the money is in your account. All right. So you being the sponsor, okay. The question is, are you telling them you are using all the money in your account to sponsor? What do you do then? That is why they want you to get more than what you have. So when you are doing the additions, when you are adding the funds available for state, okay, it should be more than what you have. It should be about 20 to 30 to 40% of what you have. Because they know you are going to, you also have family, or even if you don't have family, you are paying rent in the US and all that. So if they take every amount in your account, how do you live? They want to also look at your welfare, you the sponsor. So it's not about the 25,000. I always say it's not about the amount in there. If it is a business account, when I'm giving them my submission letter, I explain that I can even give you an account with a debit balance. It doesn't mean the person doesn't have money. He's even credit wealthy. That is why the bank has advanced money to the person. Okay, so it's about your account operations, your turnover. Your turnover is bringing. So if it is a personal account, that is where you can talk about fixed amount. But if it is an account that is receiving business funds, it should be active account. You know, you should be running the account. So that is the explanation to do with it. So be 4 or 6, every 6 or 4, you cool. You can submit 6 or 4. You are okay. All right. And then with regards to the amount in there, like I said, I would have preferred that you do one at a time so that you boost your chances of getting. Because if you try to get the two in at the same time with that amount, it might not be sufficient. So one after the other, that's why we have the May admissions, we have the September, and then we have the January. One can come in May, the other one they can sponsor, so that at least you have some allowance for yourself. You don't squeeze yourself in, sponsoring them, and you have nothing to live on. That is what the information, the statement is giving them. You don't have to have anything to live on. Okay, so that is the only thing I can say about that. Any other information that you need?
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
Hey, so one of the front tires is also missing a lug nut.
Stanson does tax clearance and credit bureau check play role when you want to visit or attend a conference.
Like $4 or $5.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll
pay for that. She already paid, right?
Please
No.
hold on.
She didn't pay at all?
No,
She told me she paid.
no.
I don't know shit on me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'll get it out. Okay, all right. Yeah, go for it. All right.
Okay, so when you are coming in for a
I don't have
conference,
like any money.
tax clearance and credit bureau check They are not mandatory requirements. But it gives them, like I said, any information you add tells a story. All right. So tax clearance certificate, it tells them that you are a law-abiding person. So as much as you are respecting or you are a responsible and a responsible
it
person in
gives them,
Ghana,
like I said, any
you
information you
you are okay. So if you give them that, then it tells them that you obey. You are some like obedient person. You are trying to go by the rules. All right, but it is not a mandatory requirement.
Yeah.
It's not a mandatory requirement.
like I said, any information you are
It's fine. You can have the car.
so if you give them that, then it tells them that you obey. You are some like obedient person. You are trying to go by the rules. All right, but it is not a mandatory requirement. It's not a mandatory requirement.
Esther, WA business video.
Any information you are
We don't need to solve cars at all.
Hello.
if you give them that, you tell them that you obey. You are some like obedient person. You are trying to go by the rules.
Right now. I'll figure it out like when I talk to him when their car's done. He came in to tell me
The date of my NGO registration came in the same month I got admission. If I add the documents I prove of home ties, would they consider that I registered just because of securing the study permit? No, granting you the study permit does not rely majorly. They don't put so much credence to home ties. They do sometimes say when they want to refuse you, but that is not the main thing here. So they will not say because of that is why you registered. No, I don't think so. So you can go ahead and add it.
I'll call you back in a minute. Okay.
An American visa to Canada, an old participant. If Canada, World Youth, how can I get a work permit to enable me to work? Okay, I am an American. Yeah. As part of it, if I understand, you are in the US now, and you want to know how you'll be able to obtain work permit. Okay. In the first place, you are in the US on visa. You are not in the US on, like, if you were to be there on study permit or work permit, then you'll be able to apply whilst you are there. But because you're on a visitor's visa, you can't apply. You will not be able to do that because you don't have any permanent stay or any, like a stay, like a study, like a student or a worker in the US. You are there as a visitor. So unless you go back home and you do it, or you do it and go and take it back home. When you go back home, you pick it up. And before you can even do that, you need to get a work offer of a job before you can do that.
Hello.
Is it advisable to outsource your admission plea to an agent? The reason I ask this is because most tend not to disclose some information to you, and you feel like you are in the dark. Yes.
I promise.
It is very important you get information, that any information that you need. So what we do at Answering Immigration is that whilst we are filling the forms, we actually don't fill the form and submit it without you knowing. You are the last person to give us a go ahead before we submit it. We give it to you to go through. Okay? Because you need it for your future applications. God willing, when you are here and you are doing your permanent residence and all that, you need those information because they will ask you. Okay, if they don't give you, it is a big blow to you. Because when you come in and you are doing your permanent residence, those are the information that you will need. So if they submit something without you knowing, it is a big blow to you. But we are very transparent. We don't do that. We make sure you see everything that we submit. Yeah.
Hello.
Please, someone does one need for a 2-year postgraduate diploma. It depends on the school, what the school requires from you. Every school and how much they do charge. Okay, So I cannot say it offhand how much you need to qualify. It depends on the school. So you can check on the admission letter, or you go to the school's website and check how much they will require from you. So a whole diploma and apply for an advanced diploma program going to affect you. As to whether it's going to affect you if you apply for have a diploma, you want to apply for advanced. No, it's not going to affect you. Like I said, it depends on whoever is doing it for you. If you are doing it for yourself, your what do you call it? Statement of purpose will tell them whether you really, one, you are willing to do to come to school. Two, whether this thing that you want to do will help you. Okay, they will have to look at all those things. So at the end of the day, if you apply to school, you can even apply for your PhD, your masters, and all that. But if you don't give them a good statement of purpose, it might affect you. So it's about telling them what and how you're gonna do this program. That is where they take you from. All right. But if you give them a good, beautiful course program that you want to do, and then you're not able to explain yourself to them, they don't have any choice but to refuse you. Okay. So whether you are doing it or someone is doing it for you, you should be able to, if an agent or a consultant is doing it, you should be able to add a very good submission letter. If you are doing it, you should be able to add a good statement of purpose in order for them to consider you a serious candidate. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr.
Ernest. Paul, can you hear us?
Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Just go ahead with your question.
Okay. Please. My name is Paul, and then I have some questions to ask Mr. Ernest.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So please, in 2019, around November, I applied for a study permit, and I got refused for the first time, and then I re-applied again through some agents, and I also got rejected, like refused. So I've been refused twice in a row. So it actually took me a long time to actually process again or proceed on it again to go in for a study visa or a study permit. So I feel this is the right time for me to actually process on it again to apply for a study permit. So I wanted to know me being refused twice. And one thing is, I even don't know the reason why I was refused. I asked my agent. Up to now, I don't know the reason. And I've been watching most YouTubes and that, and people are talking about some GSC something that you can, where the immigration officers actually jot things that they actually base on when they refused you. But then because I really don't know the reason why I was refused up to now, my agent, when I contact him, he also keep telling me stories here and there. So I don't know how I'm going to get the main reason why I was refused twice.
Okay.
And so me, I know at that time I used a third party. That was my auntie for my study permit. So watching a lot of videos and people talking about third party, mostly you get refused and all that. So I don't know if that was the reason. But then this time around, my mom is the one supporting me. So I don't know if things might turn around for them to accept me. So that has been something that I've been bothered about a lot of times. So I just really want to know how I'm going to proceed on that. Yes, sir.
All right. So let me tackle the first one. With regards to, like I said, I don't know whether you were dealing with a licensed immigration consultant, but if the person is a licensed immigration consultant, that person is obliged to give you any information about your application. In fact, he's supposed to give you back any information that he provided to IRCC. Okay. any information, be it your letters, your admission letter, your forms that you fill, they are obliged to give you back all those information. They're not supposed to keep it. They can keep it for their records and for their audit, all right? But you have to get everything. So if they don't give you, all right, you go. I mean, like I said, I don't believe that person is a regulated person. Maybe he's just an agent person, agent kind of stuff. But if it is
Yeah.
our RCIC guy, and very important, guys, if you want an immigration consultant to do your work for you and they present themselves as such, you have the right to ask them questions. What is your RCIC number? Sorry, RCIC, yeah, RCIC number. Okay, you're supposed to ask them and then verify. Like mine, I can give you mine. Mine is R711541. You go on the immigration website, the college website, and then you put in everything about me will come, my company, my name, and everything will come. Okay, so once you're going to dispense money to that person, feel free, feel like you are giving money out for a service. So ask all the questions that you have to ask, because that person is not the person who's going to approve your visa for you. No, that's why I always say that when someone comes in and a consultant comes in or an agent comes in, I'm going to take visa for you. The moment the person opens the mouth to say that, clear the person, okay? Because he doesn't have any say when it comes to approving. He can influence by giving a good application on your behalf. He cannot decide as to whether you get it or not. Okay, so you have
Okay.
at any point to ask for information or whatever that is sending on your behalf. You are supposed to know it. That is one. Two, with the GCMS, it's not a big deal. After the program, you can contact. I know the moderator is going to put our link. You can contact. We'll get the reason for you why they refused you. We'll get it for you here, and then not only getting it for you, I'll explain the reasons why they refused you. And if you want us to do it for you, we can do it. And then this time around, know how to tackle. But we make sure we tackle whatever issue that they raised from there before we continue. All right. So after here, you can contact us, and then we'll give you the link. Thirdly, you were talking about whether a third party, when a third party sponsors you, your chances of getting um one. The fact of the matter is that when your immediate family sponsors you, you have an edge over someone who is being sponsored by a third party. No two ways about that, because they believe that there is a link. Why would someone who you don't know decide to give you these huge sums of money? Okay, so what we do at Answer Immigration is that we have to justify the relationship. It's not about the money the person is giving you, it's about the relationship. What has the person been doing for you these years? Or is he just came out of the blue and say, I'm gonna sponsor you? Come on. I mean, who will believe this? So we know how to go about it. We will show them evidence, things that he has done in your previous academics or in your previous stuff that warrants him to do this. Okay, so I mean, third party or no third party, you can still get through. All right, it's don't let someone say something like that to scare you. Third party, your parents, whoever, you can still get through. And in fact, most of my clients that I've gotten for them, they use third party. Some have been there, they refused more than once. They still got it. So you being refused three, in myself, I also use myself as an example. I've been refused, not in, to be frank, not from Canada. When you talk about ambassador of refusal, me, I've gotten a lot of refusals. I can't count the number of refusals that I've gotten before as in person when I was in Ghana. It's more than 10, about 6 in the UK, or in the US. I can so many now. Look, so don't give up. Okay, when you are refused three, four, five, don't give up.
Mr. So refusal,
Take
I
care.
tell myself I got two. I got two before coming to Canada.
That is
And
here.
even my own,
Uh,
I had a US visa, a Canadian visa, a UK
yeah,
visa, and a Schengen visa.
yeah,
They still gave
yeah.
me two refusals before I
It can
came in.
get big. It's just see a refusal as one of the processes. It's just a process. the process, one of the process you have to go through to get it. It's not a, don't let it bring you down, okay? There's a question there, but I don't get it. Please, can Mr. Answer help me? Okay, okay. Yes. That is why I said I'm representing a firm, okay, Answering Immigration. So yes, we do all those things, be it temporary, be it what do you call it, permanent, be it citizenship. We do all that. Okay, so you can go on the. I think there was a website over there that you can visit us there and check what we do, and then after that, the moderator also give us the contact and we take it from there. All right. Which route is faster to relocate to family? If you ask me, I'll say you can go through the express entry. That is I mean, family of five. Yeah, for now, that is the fastest. If you are not coming in as a business person, okay, business. If you are coming in as a business person, yes, that is the fastest, but it involves a lot of money because you need to have how much, so much to invest, and which sector are you going to invest in, because it's not all businesses that qualify to come in here as a business investor. All right, you need to have a specific, like the ITs, like I always continue to mention ITs because they are, the priority when it comes to business setup. Okay, so apart from you coming in as as an entrepreneur, or coming in as being sponsored by an angel investor or a venture capital, or coming in as an incubator, okay, you can use the express entry to come in. And with that, like I said earlier, the IELTS and the credential evaluation, we evaluate your credentials. So you can contact us. We help you do all that. Please, I'm a student in Ghana in the university second year. How can I go on a visit to the US without invitation to work during our long vacation? To be frank with you, I am RCIC. I don't deal with US stuff. Okay, so let's limit my conversation to Canada, not US. Thank you. Okay, I'm a university student in my second year. What can I do to get study permit to Canada? Yes, if you don't want to use your secondary school or start afresh, you can truncate and get your first year or your first and second year's transcript, and then apply for the school. Some of the schools will make you can do a top up 2 years to get your degree. All right, or some can even ask you to do 3 years. Okay, so but if you really want to come in, you can both use your university and your secondary school and still get it. Just contact us and we help you do it. Okay. Yeah, please, how much do you one need as proof of funds in your account when you're visiting or attending a conference? All right. So with regards to this, when you're doing this, you have to know how much, where you're going to stay, how much they're going to charge in terms of your hotel bills, the airline ticket. Those are the things that you have to take into consideration. Your airline ticket, your hotel bills, how much you're going to spend as what are you going to buy, how much you're going to spend as food and all that. So add them up. Let that amount that you get form about between 20 to 40% of the amount that you have. You cannot use all your money to do the trip. Okay, so if we add this and you're supposed to come in with like 7,000 Canadian, all right, 7,000 Canadian, which is about close to 70,000 Ghana cedis, then you should have more than that in your bank account, because they're not expecting to use all this money to all the money that you have in your accounts to do the travel. Okay, they will not accept it. You should give them more than that. Yeah.
I think this person is saying you are courageous because after 10 refusals, you are still standing.
Yeah, they bounced me. They bounced me in 2000. That was my first bounce in 2000, and I got here not long ago. So yeah, that is
Okay, I think
when you walk from. Let me give you a little story. When you walk, the last one that I swore never to go closer to them again was when they asked me to come and pick it up. You know, they asked me to come and pick it up. I was in Legon by then. So I told my friends, were giving me fans, hey, boga, 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 and all that. I got to the embassy and I was called at a different, room. People are going in for it. They're taking it from this particular window. And I was called in a different room. Sir, I'm sorry, I have to introduce you. Know that I didn't even know how I was able to walk from there to campus. So I know how difficult. That is why I do appreciate people. I mean, what people go through when they are refused. It's just crazy. Okay. That is the same reason why I'm saying you should not give up because I've tried and tested it. And, I mean, if you have to come, you will come. Nothing can stop you.
but I think the mistake most people make is after refusal, they just give up.
No, don't.
That's the mistake most people make. And if you are to hear people's stories, you realize. And I was telling people about one guy that when I was going through the process, he was refused 7 times, and
Mm.
he got it on the seventh attempt.
Yeah.
And I was just telling myself, imagine if he gave up at the sixth
Mm.
attempt or even the fourth attempt. He
Yeah.
would have said, "So my dream is dead." But the truth is, he
Mm.
never gave up. He kept
Mm.
refining his application, and finally, he
Yeah.
was given.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't give up. You don't know when
I
you
think
meet your.
this will be our last question.
Okay, so I'm an graduate extension officer. Which of the three express entry? What do I qualify? Okay, so extension officer. When you go on the NOC code, just type in, go on the net, type in NOC code for agric extension officer. Okay, so if you fall under B, category B, upwards, B, I think it's either B, it can be A, it could be EB. So B or C, but I believe it's going to be B. So B, A, and O, and 0, you can come under the federal skill workers program. Those who fall below the B, that is the C, those are the Insanwajuma for those who have the handy guys, the plumbing. Just recently, I was just going through and I saw someone say, wow, they do qualify to come in. So what I say, the cleaning and all that, they qualify to come in. It is a matter of saying, what's the name you be coming. All
But
right.
I think recently one group of people who have been coming is butchers, and I was
Valid.
personally surprised
Mm.
when I realized the number of butchers who were actually coming in.
Mm.
And
Farmers.
somebody was telling me a story that when he got to the airport, he saw a group of butchers, almost 15 of them, and
Yeah.
basically they were a group that have been asked to move. They were coming from Nigeria. Their
Mm.
ticket has been paid. Their job has been secured,
Yeah.
and they are just basically butchers. So I think
Mm.
what most people need to do is you look for the category that your job falls under, and sometimes you
Yeah.
look at your job description, then you can
Mm.
easily position it very well.
Yeah. Like I said, we are always there to help you out, so we can help you look for wherever you want the position that you fall in, as well as the way forward, what you need to get, how you should go about it. All right. Don't let the number of months or whatever scare you. The years run so fast. Yeah. President Baswana president call easily. So don't say when it is 1 year or 1.5 years is too far. No, start from somewhere. Our colleagues in Nigeria, no, I mean, we share the vim that these people have and the way they are coming in. I always tell my friends, they come in with charter flights. Okay, they hire a whole lot of flights from here, but they come in because they sacrifice. Okay, they do the IELTS. They're not scared. And when we mention IELTS, the people are scared. They just give up. Don't give up. You speak good English. Okay, you can write it. You can. What is writing? The writing that we write at IELTS, that is what we do in Ghana, what we call the writing is the composition. Okay, the reading is what we call the comprehension. The listening, we always listen to Peace FM and all that. So I mean, if you listen, you'll be able to write what you heard. And then the speaking. From what I've seen, all the guys that I've seen writing the IELTS, we do score high marks in the speaking, especially Ghana. We speak good English. Our sentences, the Queen's language. Okay, so don't.
Please, are there any questions before we end? Okay, it seems there are no questions. So
Sorry, my line went off.
yeah, Mr. Ernest, so I think we'll take our last question from Nick. I think Nick came back. Then
Oh, okay.
after that, we can just end.
Yeah, that's my last question.
Right.
I've realized that people get admissions. Like for instance, somebody gets a September admission, and I heard people can come in like 3 months, 6 months before, and I want to know whether it's allowed, and if it's allowed, can the person start working before the school starts in September?
Okay, so with this question, yes, nothing stops you from coming in earlier. However, it is not advisable because the thing is, remember when you have the visa, it doesn't mean you, of course, you are in America, so when you have the visa, it doesn't mean you are in the country. The border guys will have to allow you in. All right, the I don't know how you guys call it, but we call it CBSA here. They have the authority to allow you in or to let you go back. Okay, so they will question you there. So if you come in earlier, like 3 months to time, the question is, what are you coming to do? Because the main purpose for you coming is not to come in school. Sorry, it's not to come and work. It's to come in school. Okay, so if you have at the back of your mind that you're going to work, then they will see that you are coming in on a different purpose. Therefore, we are not ready for you. Get out, go back. Okay, so ideally, let it, 1 month to time. That is what I tell my clients. 1 month to time is beautiful. Then you can tell them that, you know what, I'm coming in to acclimatize myself. I'm coming from Ghana. We are having 100% summer throughout the year. I've not witnessed winter before. I've not witnessed the cold before. So I'm coming in earlier to acclimatize myself. But coming in 3 months. Remember, you're going to pay rent. You'll be eating. You are not working, not because you're not supposed to work, but that is not the reason why you came in here. All right, so all these costs, they don't see it to be reasonable, so they would rather ask you to go and come back or go and never to come back. It's two things. So the best thing is that wait, when it's about 1 month to time, then you come, and don't wait till it passes too. And after, when it passes, they will ask you, now the school has started already, so what are you going to do? Okay, unless we don't mammy catch you, go comfortable. Unless it be a so far a over had ya now be our time with Chemwa, and you'll be to fat baby a French for no fun. Or no moon beside question be brave, common table for what you say, and all come off on a bones of best call a but so 5 years has your piercing has it thrown to us a dear, you ask a lot of questions. So what I say. So just to avoid that by coming to time. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
Nick,
very much.
we've seen people come in. Even today at church, I saw one guy who came in. His class will start in January, and he's been here for some time now. So it's all about what you explain to them. I think he told them that he came to acclimatize,
Hmm.
and there are people too who tried to come in earlier, and they were turned back. So it's about the kind of explanation that you give, and how you're able to explain how you'll be able to fend for yourself whilst you are here, without actually working. Yeah. Mr.
Yeah.
Alton, so I think you can take the last question on the screen, then we can
Okay.
close the chat. Yeah.
Please, what service do you? Like I said, my company is registered as an immigration firm. Okay, it is a consultancy firm, and like I said, I am an RCIC. I gave my number out, R711541. You can always check it out before you deal with me. I prefer that. Okay. Secondly, uh, we do everything under the sun when it comes to immigration. Okay, we do everything, but most importantly, we do specialize in the student visas, the express entries, as well as family sponsorship. Okay, but any other thing under the sun, we could do it with work permit and all that. But when it comes to the students, that is where, especially those who have been refused, because like I said, I'm holding myself out to help those most of the time, those guys who have been refused, because I've gone through and I do appreciate whatever you guys are going through, whoever has been refused. But it is not a dent on you. No, see it as one of the means by which you have to go through to come in. All right, it is not don't go and blame a few for and all that will be near you. No, 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 no. Don't go there. That's the process. So get in touch, and then we will help you fix your stuff. Those who are also applying fresh, okay, I prefer you getting in touch. The reason being that you don't go and do try and error. They mess you up, and then you have to go and correct it. Okay, so from the onset, from the start, get the right advice, get the right guys to work. There are so many of us in the system, but get the right guys to help you do your application. So that is how I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, so I think that will be it. So, Mr. Armstrong, thank you for your time.
All
And I
right.
think he agrees to make himself available at least possibly once every fortnight or once a month. So we'll try
Yeah.
and do this as much as often. And the plan is possibly to pick one of the every time we meet, we can pick one of the streams and go through it together and see how we can maximize our chances of using it to at least migrate. Then we can also try and respond to some of the questions that people have. So I'll just leave Mr. Anson's contacts on the screen. So if you need to get in touch with him, you can just get in touch with him accordingly. And if you get in touch with him, you can also let him know that you met him here, so that at least he will know where he met you, and you can advance the conversation accordingly.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time, Mr.
All
Ansong.
right.
We really
Thank you very
appreciate
much
it.
for having
I
me.
know you
Thank
are. I know you are sitting in Canada Tire right now,
I'm telling you,
because I could hear the background. So thank you
multitasking,
very much.
Thank you very much for
Yeah,
having me, and then see you guys again. Okay. All right. Thanks.
yeah. Thank you everyone for making a time, and feel free to reach out in my DM if you need to also get any questions answered. If it's within my means, I'll answer it. If not, I'll just point you in the right direction. And also, if you want to join any of the groups that we have, just to support each other, just reach out and I'll just send you the link. Thank you very much and see you again.